And good morning again, cowboys and cowgirls. I couldn't sleep, and so I decided I'd do one more video. It's about 2:30 in the morning here where I live in the desert Southwest. And as you can see, this very short video will be about the statistics concerning when MACD crosses above its signal line, something on which a lot of us rely. And I want to say, before I get any further, that just like you are aware that you don't use like one indicator without the accompaniment of another indicator to kind of validate it. I get that. This is being done in a vacuum, and I understand that. Okay, so please spare me all the comments on that subject. Although I do have a single indicator that I often rely upon all by itself, and which I do not share publicly. So okay, here's what we're talking about. And we have here a very crudely represented MACD down here at the bottom. That would be in your lower studies. And we have a couple of price bars here. So what we're going to be talking about here is when you get a cross of the MACD above its signal line, what happens the next day? And I'm doing two measurements. One is the close of that next day relative to the close of the crossing day, and the high of the next day relative to the close of the crossing day. And I use two different percentages for this. If I'm talking about the close of the next day, I have a minimum of 3% as my benchmark. That is 3% gain over the close of the previous day. And for the, if I'm using the high of the next day, then it's a 5% threshold. So alright, here's the disclaimer. Warning, trading is risky. Risk no more than you can afford to lose. Do your own due diligence. Always use stop losses. And here's the full Megillah of the disclaimer. Please pause and read each and every precious word. Now, once again, like in the previous video, I gotta have some fun once in a while. And I gotta get some sleep tonight too, before the market opens tomorrow morning. Today is, right now, actually Monday, December 2nd, and it's the wee hours of the morning. So here's the fun I want to have. What I want to know is, if you see a cross like this, a MACD cross like that, how much would you expect the next day's close or the next day's high to be above the crossing day's close? Just take a guess, you know, what you kind of expect. Now pause the video while you think that over, because in the next frame I'm going to show the statistics. And you're going to be shocked, because I was shocked, because my guess was way off, and I think your guess is going to be way off too. And here come the statistics. Here we go. There they are. Okay, the parameters that I was using for the scan on this, you can see at the top, stocks price $2 to $100. And it had to have minimum volume based on a 10 SMA of 150,000 shares a day. And that resulted in about 2,600 stocks. And we were looking again for the MACD crossing signal and the next day's value compared to the crossing day's value. Okay, and the dates, as I mentioned in the last video, that was also across Thanksgiving. I am going to take another look at this later in the week. If I find any radical differences here in the values that I'm showing, then I will share it. I will post it right on the face of the video, okay? So, what we had was using the next day close greater than or equal to 3%. Well, first of all, looking for crosses. How many crosses were they? Is 186 we found out of 2,600 stocks. And how many in the using the next day close being greater than or equal to 3%? There were 12 out of that 186 and that represents a percentage of 6.45%. Then when we use the high as a benchmark with greater than or equal to 5%, because it just wouldn't have made sense to do 3%. Of those 186, 9, which is 4.84% of the total number of crosses, would have yielded greater than or equal to 5%. So to be honest, my guess would have been these numbers would have been more like 25 or 30% of the time. And probably, maybe you guessed something like that too. So we're all wrong, and these are the real numbers. And that's really a good argument for why you want to use an extra indicator to validate MACD. MACD used to be highly reliable. It just isn't anymore. You've got to use something else with it. Okay, I hope you're finding these videos on statistics helpful. I'm Dennis at orangequant.com, and I'm going to get some sleep and go out there tomorrow morning and tear up this market. And good luck to you today.